Hello, everyone, and welcome
Or welcome back
to the Wizarding World Legacy Podcast,
where we discuss the magic of the Wizarding World's past, present, and future.
We're your hosts, Eric,
And Jasmine.
and we've got a larger than we expected news update for you guys today.
Yeah, we thought we were in, potentially a little bit of a drought, but then Canada caught on fire. And I guess it started raining or something.
Not as much as they need.
Yeah, no.
Clearly.
Not nearly enough news to quench our fires, but some.
But to ignite some fires in our hearts, the Harry Potter series.
And fuego.
To start as of July 15th, which is today's date of filming,
163 days away.
from the series premiere. In light of that, we got to start planning.
We should have been planning already.
But before we do that, we have some news to catch you guys up on. Paramount's back in the news.
So, I don't know if you guys have heard, there's this merger.
Tentative acquisition.
Someone wants to merge with someone, and that someone is Paramount Skydance, wants to somewhat acquire, somewhat merge with Warner Bros. Discovery.
Whole kit and caboodle.
It's all of it. They want it all. They want to take it all. Now, in this deal, Paramount Skydance would buy Warner Bros. Discovery for approximately $81 billion. But if you included the debt that they would be taking on in the deal, brings it up to a little bit closer to $111 billion.
Which is a wild number to think about.
To exist, actually. That amount of dollars is too many. It's too many. The deal hasn't officially happened yet, but the DOJ's antitrust division did sign off on it. They were like, we looked at it. This is not likely to infringe too much on capitalism.
So we good. Just slide us some of that cash.
Right. We Gucci, guys. It's fine.
And they want to do it by Q3 of 2026.
Yeah. So we're like,
Coming up on
we're
that.
moving. But then there were states, approximately 12 of them. And they were like, come on, DOJ.
You see what's going to happen if they do this, right? You can't really miss that.
So they filed some lawsuits led by California. All of their attorneys generals.
Massachusetts is one of them.
Yep. Mass is one of them.
Yep.
New Hampshire could get on board if they wanted to, but they haven't yet. So the states, as well as the American Guild of Writers.
American Writers Guild. Yeah.
American
or Writers
Writers.
Guild of America. Sorry.
Those guys have also filed a lawsuit to express the fact that if we move forward with this, they're going to be creating arguably someone who could dominate or monopolize the whole industry.
Yeah. It's gonna lead to the opposite of a power vacuum, or they will be the power vacuum.
Yeah. They're just going to.
Yeah. Like a Dyson
Everybody
never
else.
loses suction film to film.
They're just going to have too much power.
Yeah.
They will have too much power over the writers, over their jobs, their ability to have any sort of creativity or say in these projects.
Movie distribution, cable networks, higher prices, fewer films being made, less competition.
Actors.
Actors Guild will be screwed over by this.
So it could potentially be not so good. Now, Paramount rebuttals this and says, but guys, I need a little bit more power if I'm going to play with the big boys.
Yeah.
And the big boys being Netflix and Apple and Amazon.
And Disney. And I'm just going to say, you're not competing with Apple. There's at least 7 Apple products that you don't see on screen right now.
Right now.
In this general area.
And then some that you do see.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's not a big deal. Anyway.
You're not competing with them, Paramount. I don't know what you're doing. And
silly.
also things like Amazon and Disney, and Apple, they have completely other market sectors that they're using for their revenue sources.
Right.
They're not primarily film distribution, and it's silly. It's all silly.
It is silly.
There was a greater point to be made here, and that is that also the UK and European Union are also reviewing the merger and could block it there.
Yeah. And what I recently learned is that they can basically say, you guys can merge, but then they just won't allow their products within their countries.
Which I think creates a massive conundrum here, right?
It's just like a baby little itty bitty tiny problem, you know?
Because if you think about their potentially highest
Largest.
grossing revenue source in the upcoming, 5 to 10 years.
You guys might be familiar with it.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Right. So if they are filming in the UK and the UK says no, I think that could lead to problems for Paramount.
hypothetically,
Yeah.
I'm getting bad vibes from it.
Yeah.
So
I'm not one on international entertainment law or things like that, but I just imagine there are mounds and mounds and mounds of red tape that would just be insurmountable to try to get through.
and I mean, if you guys love red tape, pop the F off.
You have some festive boxes if you like some red tape. That much red tape.
So yeah, this is happening. People are fighting it. We'll see what happens. At the end of the day, though, the impact of the Harry Potter TV show is probably going to be minimal because if they stay separate, Warner Bros. Is still going to be Warner Bros. And they're still going to fund it in the same way that they have been funding it this whole time. If they do merge, Paramount is going to have a crazy amount of debt. And typically that does tend to lead to like budget cuts and things like that. But companies like that aren't going to be budgeting and cutting from their highest grossing or potentially highest grossing project. It'll come from other smaller projects.
So other little things that you're interested in seeing might not get done.
But Harry Potter probably will. So we'll still be here.
Yep.
And you should subscribe so that you can still be here. And then we'll all still be here together. And that's a beautiful thing.
Moving on from Paramount.
HBO is crushing.
Yeah. The craft behind the magic skyrocketed to the #1 spot worldwide on HBO Max. It's a half-hour BTS documentary.
Right. It was the #1 movie.
Which I guess in the grand scheme of things, I'm literally just thinking this now.
I love when you have thoughts. It's so
It's
rare.
so rare. Yeah. With the short attention span that people have nowadays, a half-hour movie is probably the spot for a lot of people.
It's actually a really good point. Maybe that's what did it.
I can't commit to 2 hours, but 30 minutes. And I get to still call it a movie.
You know what? I haven't tried. Recently, I learned that you can watch shows on Netflix at 2 times speed.
Just seems wrong.
It really works for me.
How do you enjoy a movie at 2 times speed?
Well, so originally you put it there and there is like maybe a 2-minute time frame where it's like, oh, that's a little fast. But eventually your brain catches up and you fit in so much more content. And I'm so much more engrossed because my brain doesn't have enough time to like think about or do other things.
This is the problem.
I am the problem.
Yep.
I know that. I'm aware. In other news that demonstrates HBO's domination.
They led the Emmy nominations this year, receiving 122, with the runner-up being somebody else who wanted to acquire them for obvious reasons now.
Netflix.
Got 111.
Only 111.
Yeah, that's 11 less.
Now, I think it's important to note that HBO got 122 this year. And in just 1 year, the Harry Potter TV show will have aired and will be eligible for Emmy nominations.
So nobody else should bother showing up at that point. HBO's got it in the bag.
I think these might just be the HBO Emmys from now on.
Yeah, the HBO Awards.
Or at least for the next 10 years. People can start trying after the Harry Potter show, but I wouldn't try before that. If I was in this industry and I was like really gunning for an Emmy, I really do think that I would try and delay my project at least past the first year.
I would either desperately try to get a role on the Harry Potter series.
Right.
Or I would be speaking to the manager, my manager, about getting something lined up for once this is done. Last Harry Potter episode premieres, next entertainment fiscal year or whatever. That's what we're going for.
Okay, but you know what? This is a 10-year series, and the odds of them spinning off into something, not all spin-offs.
Do well. I can think of one house that
has,
includes dragons.
Yeah.
It's not great.
Not terrible, but just not
Just
what
not
I
great.
wanted
It's
in
definitely not
any way
great.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's just like you got to be careful. I feel really bad for people who are trying to compete in this industry
On all fronts.
on all fronts, but like pop off HBO.
Proud of you. We're casting babies.
You can get 250 pounds. Is that the sign for pounds?
For one baby.
For one baby,
Or 350 pounds if you get a pair of babies.
a set of twins.
Yeah. Twins, Basil. Twins. And then you get 95 pounds per accompanying adult.
My question is that weekly? Is that daily? Is that once?
So if you have...
And are we buying the adults and the babies? Do we own them?
Are they a package deal? We're just renting babies and adults? It says per accompanying adult. So could you and all your friends and your families just show up and be like, here's a baby that matches the description you're looking for.
And here's 17 accompanying adults.
We all want a piece of the pie.
It's not even a piece of the pie. We all want to make a bigger pie.
We want the pie.
Give us the pie.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say,
I'll take raspberry.
if you bring 17 accompanying adults, then you'd be walking away with like $1,700.
Give or take.
That's a good day.
It's not bad.
I mean, it's
And you don't have to do anything. You just like, here's a child.
you just have to accompany them.
You have to accompany somebody who can't refuse.
Anything.
So weird.
Who doesn't have a will yet.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, so the theory is that these casting calls from multiple different agencies, Sally King, Extra People, Rotten Orphans,
which that's
rough.
yeah. Why
Come
are you
on,
calling your
guys.
casting company for kids Rotten Orphans?
Come on. son.
What said, and several others. Yeah.
Yes, and there are a number of casting companies. They're looking for infants who are Caucasian, have blue or green eyes, and dark hair.
I wonder who they're trying to cast.
Who is it?
It should be Green Eyes.
Yeah, I
Not
took
blue.
issue with that. And I'm wondering, like, are we actually just fully admitting defeat and doing everything in post? And that's why we're cool with the kid? Or are we embracing, like, maybe the kid only has, like, blue eyes, but the eyes change color as you age?
Which is common.
Right, it's a thing.
A lot of babies are born with blue eyes. The other thing is, I think blue eyes are easier to change in post if you do have to do that.
Fair.
And if you're putting contacts over them, which don't do that to a baby, please. Just change it in post. But if you are putting contacts in, it's a little easier to get the green to show up correctly over blue versus over brown.
I have the worst eyes for this, apparently.
Are yours like brown?
I don't know. You're the only one who can see them right now.
You've never used a mirror?
I said right now, in this moment, only one of us can see my eyes.
My eyes are hazel.
Okay.
I know that because it's on my license and I've lived with them my entire life.
Okay, moving on.
We're also casting children with wills that can say no.
But can say no. There is a UK open casting call. Now, last time we did talk about how Thea Achillea
Yeah.
might play Ginny, might rumor, hypothetical.
It was
could-
at least a fans cast, but she seemed like a good fit.
Yeah, absolutely agree. But they are currently conducting an open casting. They have a request specifically for children ages 10 to 12 that are residents of the UK. So I'm out.
Same. for all the reasons. Yeah. I find it weird that they basically announced like we're going to be going through people who were like runner-ups and stuff like that.
Right.
Because they said that.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, but now we're going to do an open casting call. I wonder if there's like a competition kind of law where it's like you can't just not like if it's open, if it's up for bidding,
Gotta be open.
it's got to be open. Yeah. So I wonder if there's some sort of law that they have over there for that.
Which would totally make sense. Honestly, my favorite part of this announcement is the emblem that they put at the bottom.
The Hogwarts symbol?
Yeah.
I've had a lot of people heard a lot of people, saying that they're kind of like after the initial surprise value of seeing the new symbol, a lot of people are kind of like, nah, I don't know. I don't think I want to stare at that for 10 years.
All right. Well, get over yourselves.
Because it's the crest and it just shows H, which obviously heavily implies Harry Potter as well as Hogwarts.
Right.
And it's like tree-like and it doesn't
is
show the four
tree-like.
houses.
It doesn't, but I was like looking at it and there are like little leaves on the trees if you like really zoom in.
Yeah, it's really
It's
given that
will.
nature vibe.
Yeah.
No, it just doesn't have the four houses. I can understand where people are coming from on that.
Oh, absolutely. I can.
Yeah.
I can empathize.
But they're not changing it.
But yeah, they're not changing it. So I recommend
Too late.
finding a way, maybe building a bridge and getting over it.
There's more casting rumors out there, though.
Oh,
That's a werewolf, a Lupin, if you will, a Remus Lupin.
Lupin. There are rumors that Charlie Heaton from Stranger Things could potentially be our next Remus Lupin.
And hopefully he doesn't look like he's strung out on meth like he does here.
He looks strung out so often, though.
He does. Yeah, he looks like he's done too many hard drugs.
But I think he'd probably do a pretty good job.
Yeah, because I guess Lupin does kind of look strung out most of the time. Not on drugs, but like
On werewolfism.
on wearism,
Yeah.
on not
Wolfism?
sleeping because he's been up all night wearing himself out.
Not
good.
funny.
That was actually pretty good. It was on off the top of the dome. Yeah, wasn't even
He's
pre-written
just
or anything.
spitting bars right now.
Bars. I think he looks Well, I guess I'm looking mostly at this, but even thinking of him at the end of Stranger Things, he looks a little young, I think, compared to what we're used to seeing Lupin represented as.
But Lupin
he is young.
Young.
So it's appropriate.
It would be appropriate.
Yeah. I think he is in his 30s too.
Right.
So,
which would be
idyllic.
Appropriate.
Do you think he'd be a good Lupin? I don't care. No, I'm just kidding. I do.
We do care. In other rumors of casting, Dalton Jones, I do think I did him a little bit dirty choosing this picture.
This is the worst because there was actually a really good version of him as like Colin Creevy.
But like I was like, and this was like a
Harry, is that you?
Exactly.
Harry.
So yeah, I'm
in Gryffindor too.
I did the kid dirty. But he is rumored to potentially maybe be Colin Creevy.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen confirmation that he was like being
auditioned.
Considered. Yeah, he was auditioned. And then I think someone had identified that he posted something on his social media that there's like a project coming up or something. So
he started pretty young.
He started when he was 6.
Impressive.
Yeah, he's from South Yorkshire.
South Yorkshire.
Oh yeah, sorry. I'm an American. And it's true. He's best known, if he is known, I guess. He's like a young kid, so it's okay if he's not known.
For his role as Agent Osric in the Odd Squad.
Which is adorable. And he also voiced Zach in the Pip and Posse specials.
Is it Pip and Posse or Pip and Posy? I think it's Posse.
I thought it was like Pip and his posse.
Maybe.
Like kind of a
But
gang.
it's vowel, consonant, vowel. So Pip and Posy, maybe? I don't know. It's not EY.
Grammatically, I'm confused.
It's always tricky with those Ys. Anyways. Yeah.
Dalton.
Hope to see you there, mate.
I mean, I hope to be there. I don't care if you're there.
That's true, actually. Wholeheartedly mean that. Bertie Carvel. I'm just always feeling some ice cream cakes when I hear this guy's name.
Many.
Yeah.
I just want the chocolatey stuff in the middle.
I don't even like them, but he makes me want to eat one because of his name.
That's so fair. I don't really want most of it. I do want the chocolatey stuff in the middle, though.
The bits that pretend to be cake.
Yes, the bits that pretend to be cake.
Yeah. Ironically, he's playing Cornelius Fudge.
Comedy.
Yeah.
He also somewhat recently played in A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, which was a spinoff that did work. So it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it, but
For Game of Thrones, in case you're not aware.
Anyway.
As Prince Baelor Targaryen.
Yes, he's a Targaryen, even though he's not white-haired and whatnot. He said some things.
Yeah.
What did he say?
I know what story I'd like to tell about a man who, in a darkening world with an incomprehensible evil looming, a man in a position of power who has to kind of confront his own deep well of terror and fear and, for reasons that I'll invent and maybe get to put on the screen, it's like he's somebody who's been traumatized. I don't like that statement, actually.
Really?
There's a specific little snippet of the statement I don't like. And for reasons that I'll invent and maybe get to put on the screen. Don't invent. Just play Barty Crouch. If it's something that doesn't take...
He's doing like the back work. Like you come up and then you live in method and...
Yeah, I mean, we get a little bit of the back work from Hagrid.
Yeah, you get a little bit, but like, I don't think we get nearly enough of it. He's talking about like why this is so terrifying. And I assume he's talking about like... what he went through when Voldemort first took power. Okay. All Hagrid really explains is that, like,
if that's the case, I'm fine with it.
All right.
If they do it right, if Jasmine can write it for them, I'm fine with it.
Eric has never said something that kind to me, guys. Let's all take a minute.
Because it won't happen again.
Exactly. I actually really like this statement. Like, I like going into it with the understanding that he is someone that's basically been traumatized.
I do like that he's excited about the character development too.
Very much so.
Like really fleshing out this person on screen.
Yeah.
I do like that.
Yeah.
I'll give you that, Bertie. You're not coming at me with some of that nonsense like some people like it, some people won't. You're just like, this is what I'm excited to do.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to bring up bad memories like that.
I hate
Nick Frost.
Come on, Frost. In more beautiful news.
This is lovely news.
It's absolutely stunning.
Corn glazed caverns. I want to go for a dip. I know it'd be bloody cold.
I'd be okay with it though.
I would not. I've been in a cenote. That's the underground rivers in Mexico that are like this. It's bloody freezing.
I'm still okay with that.
Until you get in and you're blood turns to glass and shatters inside your veins. It's not fun.
Well, that's what your blood does.
She's not done it yet to know how traumatic it is.
Yeah, I can tolerate the cold better than he can.
It's water. It's different than cold air.
It doesn't matter. I tolerate the cold air so much better than he does.
I'm going to make you take an ice plunge, and then I'm going to say, suck it when you don't do it. Right?
When I
cry.
I'm not going to cry.
Jeez.
Do you remember New York?
Cold air.
When you were standing there shivering like a little bitch. And I was actively taking layers off because it was so hot.
I was dressed to look good.
Uh-huh.
But I wasn't dressed practically.
No, he absolutely was not
but
dressed
I looked
practically.
Great, but
he looked dapper, but I dressed practically. And even though I dressed practically, I took off all of my practical layers because I was so warm.
Okay.
Because I tolerate the cold better than he does.
But not water. No one tolerates the cold water. When the icy grip takes hold and drags you under and you meet the drowned gods. Anyways, we suspect, based on the information released to the BBC, saying that the Harry Potter series filmed here in the last year for the first season, this is probably, especially given the boat and the little
dinghy.
This is probably the cavern that they're going to go into with the boats for the first years to enter Hogwarts from the underground.
Yeah, which we don't see in the films.
No, but they did actually make that for the Hogwarts Legacy series, which is pretty cool.
So I just thought this was stunning.
It's pretty sick looking.
And I want to go.
I'd visit.
Casey
Bloys, brother.
Casey Bloys, thank you so much for coming back on the pod. He was recently quoted because he did another interview with another people. I think it was Variety.
One of them.
He said some stuff to some people, and this is what he said.
From a creative standpoint, I mean, look, I've always worked in television. It's my favorite medium.
Hey.
One of the benefits from my point of view is being able to spend more time with the characters and the story. So if you got a book, or rather a series of books, and you arbitrarily decide, well, we got 2 hours.
Likely referring to the films here.
You have to make tough decisions. The idea
with the series
is to have the freedom to let the story breathe a little more. Explore the world a little more. I have no idea if that's what he sounds like, and I don't care.
Please buckle your seatbelts.
But
we're going to go Mach 5 down the highway and bust through this windshield. Shout out, call me Chris. I'm a big fan. Into Eric's nerddom.
Yeah, there's going to be a diatribe of cinematography here. So hopefully you like that. And if you don't, it's too bad.
Feel free to fast forward. There's this guy.
He's an award-winning Brazilian television director and cinematographer.
And he is one of 3 directors of photography. We will refer to them as DPs moving forward, even though director of photography.
It's really not an accurate description because he's neither the director nor is he taking photographs. He should be like the director of cinematography or videography or just the cinematographer.
Yeah. So what does the director of photography do, Eric?
So the director of photography is the guy who's kind of like figuring out the shot composition and helping to direct the lighting. And helps with blocking. He's not in charge of blocking, but he's basically the guy who's making all the creative decisions when it comes to the filming process, the actual on-set filming process.
Like visuals specifically.
Visuals specifically as it pertains to the camera and photo, or in this case, film acquisition.
Okay.
Adriano Goldman. He's Brazilian, but we're going to pretend he's Antonio Banderas.
Yes. Because why not? He is directing, or he has directed, because we've finished season 1. So he directed 4 of the 8 episodes. He directed episode 1, 2, 7, and 8. So the first 2 and the last 2. And recently, he did an interview with another Brazilian photographer, I believe.
Filmmaker.
Does stuff with cameras,
Yeah.
And in this interview, he talked a lot about his perspective and sort of how he was shaping the Harry Potter series. I'm going to share with you what he said, and Eric is going to share with you his perspective. When he was being interviewed, he had said, image direction avoids noise in the image to maintain the viewer's immersion, preserve the sharpness of details, and ensure a clean texture. This is crucial in post-production, as noise reduces image quality, harms special effects, and hinders professional color grading. In summary, a clean image allows for fidelity and immersion, technical quality, and flexibility in editing. Everybody, let's go. We got through it without Eric interrupting.
But here's where it comes in.
Exactly.
So I'm going to go ahead and disagree with some of, arguably even maybe most of what he has to say here. And interestingly enough, I actually just watched an interview with Tom Cruise on his new movie. I think it's Dig or Digger. If you're not familiar with Tom Cruise and sort of his level of involvement in the production of the films that he's in, he's not just an actor. He is involved in every single creative decision made in the films he's in.
Dang.
He even helps to choose the lenses that are put on the camera. And he makes sure that the other actors understand the lenses, how they distort the image or how they preserve image integrity in terms of like the shape of what's close or far away from them, the depth of field of them. He like really wants people to understand the technicals because it may influence how you behave in front of that particular lens and sensor or film stock.
Dang, pop off.
So he really gets into it. With that said,
You're just like Tom Cruise.
except for everything having to do with the physical fitness and willingness to be anywhere near a plane that could go down at any moment.
It's fine. Please continue.
Yeah. So one of the points that this director of photography makes is that image acquisition is really important to ensure the sharpness and details and clean texture and to avoid things that could harm special effects. That element of his statement, I will agree with vehemently. In fact, how you film when understanding that this is going to involve special effects changes a lot of things. There's something, for example, called shutter speed or shutter angle. And that is how long the sensor is exposed to light and can have an impact on something called motion blur. When something moves, there's more or less blur. The reason that matters is because if you're doing VFX afterwards and you're using green screens or blue screens, which we have seen in some of the sets,
Yep.
You want there to be as minimal motion blur as possible so that you can see the edge of your subject that you're chroma keying out or cutting out and separating from the background to replace the background. You don't want these weird blue artifacts every time somebody moves. This is especially noticeable in the hair. Yeah. So when you do like green screen and you've got brown hair and there's green reflecting onto the hair because of lighting, it makes it a pain in the ass to key that out. You might have noticed that they used blue screen on the images that we shared for the Harry Potter series.
Yeah.
Part of that's because the sky is going to be naturally blue, so it's okay if there's a little bit of a blue tone cast on the subject. Part of that is because you do not have blue in your skin and hair and things like that. Skin tones naturally do not have blue. They have orange and magenta and some of those colors, but they don't have blue specifically.
What about my veins?
Nope. Because what happens is when light, especially ultraviolet light and indigo, which the spectrum of lights for the best LED lights and the sun, the indigo lights and the ultraviolet light that's there actually causes more of a red flesh tone to show through.
Well, I'm a little bit translucent.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't want to see that because it would look sickly. So you actually don't want to show that on. So you guys aren't actually going to notice that she's blue, but I can see it in person.
Yikes.
Yeah. So I will agree with that. However, he then goes on to make points to say that it hinders professional color grading, that noise can affect image quality and immersion. That is the opposite point that many cinematographers and directors of photography and really, really good directors like Christopher Nolan and all these other people would say they have filmed in a time where they used actual film. In fact, the film that Tom Cruise was being interviewed about, they went back to using Panavision film, which is what the Harry Potter movies were shot on.
This picture says Panavision.
Well, Panavision doesn't just make film stock anymore.
Okay.
But they make lenses and all sorts of other stuff now too. Panavision film was used because the quality of the film stock is so good that you can get the equivalent of like a 12K image out of it. So when they went back and remastered Harry Potter, it looked so good that the VFX actually looked like crap.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you go and watch it on like
Quidditch screen?
Yeah, when you go and watch it on like a nice OLED screen or a nice, like a huge like theater, those scenes look like garbage because the image resolution when they remastered it was so good and the detail was so good that you couldn't make that kind of blend in. When it was originally shot and they were delivering it in a lower resolution, it wasn't as noticeable. Like 1080p or lower wasn't noticeable. Once you got into 2K, 4K, 8K, 12K, problematic at best because it's so crisp. I would argue that takes you out of the immersion because you're like, ooh, that looks fake as shit. and just like kind of takes you out of it. Whereas if something has a little bit of grain and stuff like that, blending all the image together and everything looks cohesive, you're kept into it.
But if something looks like really sharp, can't I unsharpen it to fit it with other stuff?
You can. And so he says flexibility in editing. This is another point that was made in that recent interview. And that is that movies are less and less starting to look like movies. And so if you were to watch as long as it's not an AI one, because they're all shit. But if you were to watch like a high-end production commercial nowadays.
Like the Tom Felton one.
Not like the Tom Felton one, because that was made to look movie-esque.
Okay.
But if you were to watch like just a good commercial for a product, it has this very like poppy, contrasty, sharp, very, very intentionally lit kind of look to it, right? Because they want you very much focused on their product and they want everything in the frame to accentuate their product. It's like, it's this very directed kind of look.
We'll find some examples.
You can watch almost any commercial and that's what you'll get from it. And a lot of times people who shoot for commercials will shoot on what they call clinical glass. It's just very, very clean lenses that don't add any character to it because they don't want to pull away from whatever the company's vision is for their product. They don't want to add their own vision to it.
Right.
So by trying to get the cleanest image right off the bat, you're not committing to anything. And what actually ends up happening is you have to make all these choices in post-production, and that becomes exceedingly expensive, exceedingly time-consuming, and can become very disjointed, either episode to episode or season to season. If you get different people who are in charge of the cinematography and the color grading and everything else, and all the choices are being made later, then the original vision of the person who lit it, who blocked it, who shot it, who acquired the images may not be fulfilled. And so you might have one person shooting it with a specific thing in mind and another person doing all the editing and color grading and everything else with a totally different vision for it because you've done nothing to commit to the final vision.
And if you add in the inconsistency between directors,
that's going to, I think, further compound those issues. Back in the day, if you think of things like Jurassic Park, which used VFX,
right?
But they actually, some of it still looked pretty good. I mean, Jurassic Park, not Jurassic World. The modern ones, I think, were problematic at best. But the original ones still hold up. And they used a lot of animatronics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg committed to a very specific appearance to everything from the get-go. He didn't rely on really, really shallow depth of field. In fact, you saw a lot of things in focus. He wanted the entire environment to draw you in as if you were there. He committed to very specific lighting, very specific framing of everything. You know, they had to use a blend of animatronics, CGI, and forced perspective to make you think like you were in this world of these impossibly giant beasts. But it felt real.
I mean, for the Harry Potter series, I think they've committed to doing as much practical effects as possible.
Right. But we already know they're going to use a lot of VFX.
Yeah, they have to.
We've seen it with the blue screens and everything else. We saw it with the, when we saw the LED backgrounds, right? That's technically a VFX.
Oh, yeah.
And that requires already compromises on what you would normally do for your frame rates because that has to stay sharp enough for you to modify things in post, right? So instead of having natural looking motion blur, you get this rigid kind of choppiness. You guys aren't really going to notice this because I'm shooting in 29.97 frames per second. If I was shooting for a movie, I would shoot in 23.98, which is 24 frames per second. That's what cinematography uses. You can't do that on a green screen or on these digital screens. You have to shoot usually in 30, or if they're shooting in the UK, they're probably going to shoot in 50 frames per second, downsample to 25. Or they might shoot even in higher frame rates, 90 frames, 120 frames at times if they need to do slow motion. And then they have to crank up their shutter speed, which means they need to do different choices with lighting. And it changes a lot. So it makes a difficult project when you have kids and all these labor laws and everything else. It makes it even harder to get the image that you want, all for somebody else to have a totally different vision when they put it into the post-production process.
Because you can't just do something over and over and over again because kids can only work for so long.
Right. And so if you're using natural light and you don't have as much control over that, and you're having to make all these choices, you're kind of beholden to what you've got. So
are we agreeing with that it's best to go with a clean texture and sharp details?
I think you need to strike a very intentional balance at the beginning, and you need to commit to what your final look is from the beginning. And so he went on to give some more opinions on that. I guess before we get into the rest of his opinions, what we see movies falling into, the trap they're falling into now, is this whole fix it and post mentality. Now, I went to school for audio engineering originally, and they had the same problem there. Like, oh, it sounds okay. We'll fix it in post. We'll get rid of that, extra hum in post or whatever. And this was true for people recording for CDs. This was true for people doing sound for picture, Foley effects, whatever. People would fix it in post. Every single professor you had said, lose that fucking phrase right now, because you need the best audio acquisition from the start, because everything you do after further degrades it and makes it trash. If it's perfect to begin with, everything else you do is just this little pizzazz on top of it. It's this little sizzle that makes everything just kind of shine. But if you're trying to add sizzle to a turd, it just smells bad. I literally had a professor say that. And it was a point that really stood with me, but I think even more translates to image acquisition, because if it looks like crap, there's only, especially with digital, there's only so much you can do to save that. You may be able to bring down your highlights if something's overexposed and it still shows up, bring up your shadows and do some noise cleanup, and everything still looks okay. But if you're not really intentional about lighting choices, if you're not, which he seems to be, if you're not really intentional about the type of lenses you use, I mean, a different focal length can make your image look completely different. We made a joke about zooming in earlier. And if you were to use a wide angle lens, the separation between your background and your subject is completely different. Your field of view looks very, very deep.
Right.
Whereas if you use a telephoto lens, your subject can be just as far away from what they are in the background, but there's a natural telescopic compression.
Right.
So everything looks closer and more crammed into the frame. You have to make very, very specific choices from the get-go, because there are things you can't fix in post.
Got you.
And so overly cleaning it up may remove some of the character that makes it feel lived in and magical.
Understood. I'm following now. He hasn't necessarily talked a ton about his approach yet. He just believes that getting the cleanest image possible is critical to ensure effective editing.
Yeah.
Whereas our stance, because my stance is whatever the fuck he says.
Well, again, this was the point that Tom Cruise had also made in his interview, and something I had already thought, but it was nice to hear somebody who's been doing this for decades kind of reaffirm. If you go in and just saying clean, 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 let's make it really, really clean and we can muddy it up in post, it never comes out as good. You can't use zeros and ones to supersede physics, right? Physics is just a real thing that can't be matched by computers. We're close, but we're not there. and we've been close for decades and we're still not there. Physics is just a wonderful thing. And making those commitments up front also gives you, as a cinematographer, the control of making sure the vision you had is the vision you get.
And that's what we want.
He added a little more, which does add some kind of confidence, I guess.
Goldman also said, I have a few obsessions and they really help guide my lighting strategy.
Which is good.
It's a concept that, as it happens, got applied on The Crown, on Andor, and now on Harry Potter 2. It's what I call the single source approach. One of them is that I don't want to see more than one shadow on someone's face.
I'm going to explain that just for a sec, because some people might not know, like, what do you mean more than one shadow on someone's face? He's not saying, like, you can't have Harry walk over here and Ron walk over here and see their independent shadows cast on the person's face. That would be natural. That's what you would want to see. What he's saying is, for example, in this shot, I have a light here, and you can probably see that in Jasmine's eyes, because we're going to talk about highlights in a sec. I have a light here, and you can probably see that in my eyes, and they're different shapes, and that's kind of a no-no, but that's okay. If you were to balance these incorrectly, you would have separate shadows. In fact, if I go like this, you're not really getting separate shadows on Jasmine's face.
He's just too good at what he does.
Thank you. But if you were to do it incorrectly, you would get the wrong types of shadows. So I'm doing a technique called cross keying. He's doing a technique probably called far side keying, where you key, meaning you put your main light on one side of the subject, usually on the side that's further away from the camera, so that the shadow side is closer to the camera. And that's actually what I tried to emulate here. So my key light is over here. I get less light from that one, but a little bit of fill, and we call it fill light. Jasmine gets her key light from that side because she's physically closer. Her fill's from this side. Our interior side, if you were to use what's called false color, or EL zone is what they use on sets most of the time, this part of our face would be darker than this part of our face. So our shadow side is closer to the camera. That's basically what he's talking about. I want one main source of light. He goes on to explain.
I'm also obsessed with eye sparkles. I catch lights, eye lights. Did you add that?
I added that. So i.e. catch lights or eye lights. So the eye sparkles he's talking about in the industry is called a catch light or an eye light. It's a very common technique where what they'll do is you'll have your main light, but if that light isn't showing up very well in the character's eyes, so it's illuminating them, but you don't see like a flashy point in the eyes, which you can see in ours in this. If I look this way, you can really see mine catching here. If Jasmine looks at the camera, you can see hers catching too. That's an eye light. My key light is already doing that job because of how close we are to it. But if you have a big window, you might not notice it as much. So sometimes they'll actually put a small light. Sometimes they'll put, I mean, I've actually seen them use phones, but they'll put a little light on top of the camera and that's going to shine in their lights. Or they'll have somebody Hollywooding the light where they'll just hold it and it's not bright enough to change the illumination of the person's face, but it's bright enough to catch in their pupil or their iris and you can see the sparkle in their eyes. So when he says, I like eye sparkles, it's called a catch light.
I need to somehow get a clear eye with a glint of light in it. The further someone is from a window, the more I need to bring in something to complement that.
Yep.
That's basically how I'm thinking the whole time. What's the best source I can use in this environment? I've got a huge window here. Great. But first, can I get a source set up outside of it? That's where I start, and I build out the rest of the shots from there. Because not everything is done in wide shots.
Yeah. So if you have a wide shot, you're not going to focus as much on the eye lights. Mm-hmm. If you're doing a medium or a medium close up or a close up, you have to see that catch light because it makes the person look more alive. If there's no sparkle in the eye, they look almost fake or just like they don't look alive. They don't look lively. I like that he uses the window example because that's one where like if you have these huge windows like they will, right, you would anticipate that it would make the scene look nice and bright and make the characters well lit and that you would see it catch in the eye. That's oftentimes not true. And you'll notice that if you use a real camera inside your house, so not a phone, because a phone will use computational photography to bring up the shadows, bring down the highlights and get you a wider than is actually possible dynamic range. With a real camera, it's actually going to look much darker than it does to your eyes inside of a house, even if you have big windows. And the fall off of light from where the window is to like just 5 feet back is drastic. It doesn't illuminate your subject the way you would think it would. And if it's a really, really, really big source, it may not create that ping in the eyes. So the challenge and why he gives this so much attention is that you've got to find a way to ping the eyes without changing how evenly lit they are if that's what you're going for.
Dang.
It's another thing that kind of slows down the process. Now, it's an intentional thing, so this actually gives me a lot of encouragement, but it's something that makes it take even longer. And if you're saying, well, I've got to get the cleanest image acquisition so I can get all this done, and I've got to make all these specific choices for VFX captures, now you're just compounding things that are going to make that harder versus here's my very intentional image that I'm committing to because this is what I want as my end product. Everything we're going to do is going to follow that path. So it's a balance, and it's a difficult one once you start introducing like restricted hours of working and all that kind of stuff.
It sounds like a lot, and I don't envy him.
I do, because it seems so fun.
One other thing that Goldman had mentioned is that his general approach is that he's looking for more vibrancy in the series as opposed to the films, I think. So,
which is interesting because I think we both want to see that.
But in the trailer,
it was pretty dull.
Yeah, we didn't.
It was dark. It was a little dull. We saw some, I think afterwards, we saw it like recirculate and the colors had been boosted, the saturation.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Someone posted that like when it was uploaded to YouTube, it was like
compressed and looked crappy. And
right.
Yeah. And then when it was actually on HBO's like app and stuff like that, there was much better contrast. It wasn't all gray washed.
Right.
It was better saturation. Yeah, it looked good.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see what he does. I definitely think that he knows what he's doing. He's been involved in some pretty fantastic projects. Shooting for the moon a little bit with the whole, I want the cleanest image humanly possible, but I'm excited to see what happens.
And even The Crown, like he mentions The Crown, it was a period piece and it was still pretty poppy at moments in terms of like color saturation and contrast and stuff.
Gotcha.
That looked great.
So Tom and Jerry?
Yeah, this is a weird bit of news.
That's everything that's happening with the show.
That's the serious stuff.
That's like the serious, like pay attention, you probably care. This is just like, I saw it and I'm confused about it.
Yeah.
But like, here we are.
I mean, you're a little less confused once you realize where this is happening.
Yeah. So in the studio tour in Japan, Tom and Jerry are, I guess, going to be part part of the 25th anniversary of the release of the Philosopher's Stone.
Movie,
Yes, the film. And for this 25th anniversary celebration, they're bringing Tom and Jerry to the studio tour, so much so that you can go and celebrate with Tom and Jerry. It's their mischief celebration. So you can, like, in select areas of the studio tour, I guess, you'll be able to see or, like, I don't know, discover the mischief that they have left behind, which I guess sounds kind of cute.
Well, I didn't even know Tom and Jerry was much of a thing in Japan.
I didn't know Tom and Jerry was much of a thing at all still, honestly.
Well, certainly I didn't know it was much of a thing at all still, but I didn't know it was much of a thing ever in Japan.
Fair. I mean, I will say there's no like real like audio to it.
Yeah, they don't speak.
So
I mean, there's audio, but they don't speak.
Yeah. So they're like, yeah, exactly. They don't like speak a language. So it can be successful almost anywhere.
It's a weird crossover.
Why?
Yeah, it's a weird crossover.
Like, why Tom and Jerry
with Harry Potter?
Why am I looking at that? And I mean, yes, of course, it makes sense that Tom is a Slytherin and Jerry is a Gryffindor. Totally makes sense. But does it also make sense that on opening day, I should be able to go take pictures with a mascot version of Tom and Jerry at the Harry Potter studio tour? Like, imagine not knowing this is happening and showing up to the studio tour to a giant gray cat and a giant brown mouse.
Yeah, you're just in Japan because you're like, I wonder if this one's different than the UK one. You're like, oh, konnichiwa, konnichiwa. Konnichiwa, what the hell are you doing here? You're not part of this.
I looked into it. Tom and Jerry is owned by Warner Bros. So it's like,
sure,
they have the right to. I just don't know why they would.
There's so many things owned by Warner Brothers,
right?
That I'm like, why? Just why this?
I think that there was a lot more opportunity.
It would almost make more sense for Batman to show up.
Yeah, Batman. I don't know. What is it?
The Justice League, any of them.
The Justice League.
In fact, the Flash was played by the same kid who plays Credence Barebones.
Okay, so we absolutely could have had the Flash. We could have had Big Bang Theory?
Maybe don't have the guy who played Credence Barebones, though, because he's a little bit of a loose cannon.
Okay, yeah, so we don't need that. Don't have him there.
Tom's totes.
But Tom's totes.
Yeah.
Your
tote's going to want to get one if you go
to Japan to the studio tour between, I think it's like something in July and August. Like, it's a short time period that we're celebrating the 25th anniversary with the cat and the mouse.
Also, there's so many other things they could do and have done. Like, we've done the 25th anniversary wand collections where they did the Lumos wand, and they just did another one that was just released. It was really, really cool looking, actually.
I forget what it is.
It's the Accio wand. It was another a spell specific one. Very, very cool looking.
I got the Patronus wand, but I don't have.
There was one that like just came out. It might have been the Accio wand. I can't remember.
We've done other stuff to celebrate this.
This just seems like a weird twist. You can get, I think these are
stickers.
Oh, okay. I thought they were coasters.
Get stickers with your meal when you go, but they did specify that you cannot request a specific sticker.
Which seems wrong. I mean, if you're sorted into a specific house, that's the sticker they should get you.
Right.
And maybe to prove that, you have to show them your Harry Potter fan club thing, which actually, is that a thing anymore? I think they shut it down. But Pottermore's still a thing.
Yeah, Pottermore's definitely still.
So you got to show them that you did the Pottermore sorting quiz. And
you gotta like...
Prove your house.
Prove it. No. Prove it.
You're the doctor, aren't you? I don't get it.
You want me to be looked at.
There's more crossovers.
These are kind of cute.
The one on they're kind of cute and they actually fit where this is happening. But the one on the left definitely looks like, I don't know if any of you play Fortnite. It looks like the new sprites on Fortnite. Absolutely
it does. And if anyone knows where to get a Sprite stuffy, I would really love just like a little cute Sprite Fortnite stuffy.
Amazon?
Yeah, I've looked.
I'll find. I didn't know this was a thing you were looking for.
It is, but like I want them to be cute and not like horrific. It's a hard thing to do. But these are cute. Tea. Yeah, exactly. Gongcha tea. I'm actually not going to say that ever again.
Gongcha tea.
Yeah, Eric says it. Is a popular tea brand that was founded in Taiwan, I think in 2006, and they have done it's a bubble tea brand.
I think it's just tea. I think they just make tea.
And they have bubble tea. So each of these little like, what do you call them? Sprites?
We're going to call them sprites. That's what they look like.
Each of the tea sprites is a bubble tea sprite. That's why they have the little bubbles in the bottom.
Huh.
And there's one for each house. They're kind of cute. And they also came out with 2 different teas I want to say it's like a black tea and
a green tea.
So
way cuter than the Tom and Jerry things.
Way cuter.
Yeah.
And these guys.
And they do have coasters.
Exactly. Yeah. They do have coasters. This isn't the most relevant thing in the whole entire world, but
here's the flavors. They got Patronus elderflower powder black tea,
which is their signature lime black tea topped with an elder wand inspired floral elderflower foaming powder.
Okay. That's a lot. And then there's the Patronus elderflower powder green tea,
which is the same magical swirling elderflower foam atop
Gongcha's signature lime green tea.
Exactly. So they're teas, they foam,
they're lime,
they're inspired by elder wand
stuff,
and
they're swirling,
and they're cute, and it's fun.
They actually look good.
They look good. I like the little guys. I like how Hufflepuff is the really, really happy. Although I do think it's kind of weird. I obviously think way too much about this. Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff, I feel like almost sometimes should be switched. I can't tell what the expression on Ravenclaw's face is, but it looks like really happy. Whereas Slytherin
but
makes
it looks
sense.
like happy as in I just got one over on you in a smart way. Whereas Slytherin's kind of
yeah. Slytherin's serving, Gryffindor makes sense.
Gryffindor's got that cocky smile, jock smile.
Yeah, exactly. A jock smile.
Yeah. And Hufflepuff's just I'm happy. I'm a Hufflepuff.
Exactly. I love him. He's so cute, even though I can't stand his color. That's fine. And that's it. That is all the news that we have for today. Our next episode, we are diving headfirst into planning for our Prefect Perfect Potter premiere party.
Prep.
Come with your ideas to the party that we're prepping for, but we're going to have a party to prep for it, obviously. So come with your ideas, recipes, drinks, decorations, what to wear. How do we ring in the dawn of
a new generation of Harry Potter?
Exactly. Very excited for it. Thank you guys so much for going through the news with us, staying up to date, staying excited about the series. We hope that you guys enjoyed. Definitely be sure to comment your thoughts on Gongcha Tea's little guys. Feel free to voice your opinions on, the actual things that we talked about.
Especially the cinematography, because it's awesome.
Because we were chroma keying. It's a word I want to work into my vocabulary. Gosh, guys, stop chroma keying me. I don't know what it means, but I think it goes hard. It
does go hard, but not in that direction.
Exactly. And that's fine. But again, thank you so much for staying with us. And until
next time, keep your wands at the ready.
And stay magical. Finite. So it's time for so long.
It's time for farewell.
So we'll sing just one more song.
And then I'll see you in hell. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm trying to do Blue's Clues.
Yeah, I'm not doing that though.
Thanks for doing your part. You sure are smart. With me and you and my dog Blue, we can do anything. Bow, 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 bow.